Hello, my name is Jackie Kacen, and I'm so excited to get to read with you today. I hope we have a lot of fun. Let's get started, shall we? The book I'm going to read to you today is Love by Sophia by Jim Averbeck and Yasmin Ismail. What do you think this book is going to be about? Love, and we see a red heart, and this must be Sophia. What's she holding in her hand? Who's this? Is it a dog? Let's find out. Oh, look at Sophia. She loves to play. Let's see what she loves to do. That looks like glue. Those look like watercolor paints. Banana for a snack. Some crayons, chalk maybe? And she loves her roller skates. She's always wearing her roller skates. This is the title page. It tells us a little bit more about the book. So, Jim Averbeck is the author. What does an author do? The author is the one who writes the book. Yasmin Ismail, she's the illustrator. Do you know what the illustrator does? She's the one who does the drawings. We also can find out who published the book, when the book was published, and let's look at what Sophia is holding in her hand this time. What does that look like to you? And look, it's her roller skates. She loves being on roller skates. Today's assignment, draw something you love, Ms. Paradigm said. Sophia scooped up her crayons. She knew just what she would draw. There she is, drawing happily away. But when she shared her work with Noodle, who's Noodle? This is Noodle. Noodle did not seem impressed. You're right, too ordinary, said Sophia. You're right, humdrum. You're right, it's better, but still too flat. Art is hard. I don't think Noodle is a dog. What do you think Noodle is? Problem? Asked Ms. Paradigm. It doesn't look right, said Sophia. It doesn't feel real. Maybe you could use a little perspective, said Ms. Paradigm. Perspective? Asked Sophia. What's that? Do you know what perspective is? We're going to find out, because I think this book is going to tell us what perspective means. Your paper is flat, but our world is wider and higher and deeper than that. Okay? So the paper, you have to try to make a two-dimensional thing look higher and wider and deeper. To make your art feel real, Ms. Paradigm is saying, you must see all of these dimensions. Look closely. So let's look at this drawing, okay? What can you see in this drawing? What makes it look not flat, but that something is in front of something else, perhaps, okay? So for instance, these look like scissors. What does this look like? Piece of paper. So it looks like the scissors are cutting the piece of paper. That would add some depth, okay? And we know what a triangle is, right? A triangle has 3 sides. But what about this? This and this, they're made up of triangles, but then there's a square, okay? How many sides does this pyramid have? 1, 2, 3, we can't see that one, it's behind. 4, we can't see that one because it's behind. 5. 5 sides to a pyramid because it has height and width and depth. And a triangle is flat and it just has 3 sides. So perspective is trying to add that different point of view to give it volume. Look closely. Sophia hugged Noodle tightly and gazed up the length of his tall neck. Noodle's ossicones looked tiny, she thought. I think we know that Noodle is not a dog. Noodle's a giraffe. What are ossicones? Well, if we look all the way up here on Noodle's head, those 2 little antennae sticking out, those are ossicones. They're actually nodules, they're not antennae. But as Noodle bent down for a kiss, okay, his ossicones appeared bigger and bigger. The same thing looks bigger close up and smaller farther away, said Sophia. So when Noodle bent in for a kiss, the ossicones look big. But when Sophia is down on the ground looking up at Noodle, the ossicones look little. Exactly, said Miss Paradigm. To a bird flying over Noodle, his head would look huge, but his hooves small. So Miss Paradigm and Sophia have a bird's eye view of Noodle, and Noodle's head is very big, but his hooves are really little. Exactly, a bird's eye view, said Miss Paradigm. But when they're standing at Noodle's feet, his hooves look huge and his head looks small. Hey, that's a worm's eye view. What you see depends on where you're looking from, said Sophia. Exactly. That's why when you see from someone else's viewpoint, we say you've gained perspective. Have you ever thought of something differently from someone else? And when they explained why they saw it that way, then you're like, oh, I see. That's a different viewpoint, and that's gaining perspective about how they see the world. So for Sophia, she needs to find perspective for her drawing so that it looks the way she wants it to look. Okay? To make great art, you must find a perspective that's all your own. And Sophia did. So she's back at work. She's drawing. Perfect, she said. Noodle twitched an ear. You're right, Sophia said. This picture belongs on the refrigerator. So here she goes, zooming on her roller skates. And here's her drawing. Are we going to get to see what she drew? Ooh, I hope so. So, Sophia wants to put the picture on the refrigerator. This was no ordinary claim because this was no ordinary fridge. It was the Whitney, the Guggenheim, the Louvre Museum of all refrigerators. Do you know what the Whitney and the Guggenheim and the Louvre are? They're world famous museums. Really, really important art hangs in them and sculptures, and people flock to the museum to see the paintings and the sculptures. So this is not an ordinary fridge. It's like a very important museum. Okay. It was also a brand new double door stainless steel cool kitchen. Not a scratch, not a dent, not a smidge of sticky tape residue. It would be a tough sell to the selection committee. So Sophia has to get through the selection committee for her picture to be hung on the refrigerator. Let's see who's on the selection committee. Okay, there is Mother, a judge, Father, a businessman, Uncle Conrad, a politician, and hardest of all, the head curator, Grandmama, who held severe attitudes about art. A curator? Do you know what a curator is? Curators typically work at museums, and they're the ones who decide sort of what gets hung where and what pieces the museum is going to collect. So they're sort of like the manager of the museum or the art collection. Sophia has to get through Mother, Father, Uncle Conrad, and Grandmama if she wants her picture to be hung on the refrigerator. Okay, I wish her luck. Sophia approached Mother first. I call this piece love. May I hang it on the refrigerator, please? Oh, we get to see Sophia's picture that she drew. And look at that. Do you see love? What do you see in that picture? Oh, I wonder what Sophia is trying to show in that picture. It says love, so she's trying to show love. I wonder what all the colors and the parts represent. Mother's reply. This work feels incomplete, Mother said. It's simply a fancy letter O, and there are 3 more letters in love. So to Mother, this just looks like an O, and love is spelled L-O-V-E. So I guess Mother is looking for the L and the V and the E. Sophia said, and there's 100 more ways to look at art. Hanging it will leave fingerprints, said Mother. I therefore issue an injunction against its display. Ooh, an injunction? Mother the judge issuing an injunction. It means she's stopping Sophia from putting her picture on the wall. An injunction means stopping some action. Okay. That's censorship, said Sophia. That's stainless, said Mother. Censorship, ooh, that can't be good. That's blocking an idea. So Mother is blocking Sophia's idea of love as she's drawn it. Okay. Sophia looked so sad that Mother showed some leniency. Go ask your father, she said. Ah, leniency, Mother the judge. She's going to go easy on Sophia and let her get another opinion. Father, I don't see love, said Father. You're looking at it wrong. Father turned it around and around and round and round. I'm sorry, abstract art doesn't hold value. Father's the businessman, remember? Okay. Abstract art. That's something that doesn't quite look like Father is expecting. But love is priceless, said Sophia. Not on the free market, said Father. You might have better luck in the public sector. Ask your uncle. Oh, so the free market, Father's a businessman, right? So the free market is when businesses compete with one another and people like you and I buy things that have the best price and the best value for us. Father doesn't see any value in this picture that Sophia has drawn, okay? So Sophia has to go ask her uncle. Do we remember what Uncle Conrad is? Uncle Conrad's the politician. So public art is a public good, Sophia told Uncle Conrad. I call this piece love. May I hang it on the refrigerator, please? So when there's art out for everybody to see, okay, that means it's a public good. Everybody can enjoy it. Uncle Conrad convened a blue ribbon panel. He's going to bring in experts to decide if this should be hung for the public good. Let's see who's on that blue ribbon panel. Okay, we have Mr. Horse. We have a bear. We have Mr. Bun, a bunny rabbit. Ooh, and what's this one? Whiskers, stripes, tail. Ms. Tiger. Let's find out what the blue ribbon panel thinks, shall we? I'm sorry, said Uncle Conrad, but this piece looks like a 0. Are you saying love is nothing? We cannot commit public space to an idea so radical, so avant-garde. Oh, so Mother saw an O. Uncle Conrad sees a 0. Ooh, and he thinks a 0 means love is nothing. That's a different perspective. Avant-garde, ooh, radical and avant-garde. What does that mean? Well, that's kind of an innovative and experimental idea. So to say that love is nothing, that's pretty radical. That's the wrong point of view, said Sophia. Uncle Conrad shrugged. Mr. Bunn suggests any painting called Love should feature safe, delicious carrots, and he will change his vote if you add some. So we know that bunny rabbits like carrots, and apparently Mr. Bunn wants all art to have pictures of carrots. That's one perspective. I don't know if I would want carrots in every single picture. That's kind of boring. Okay. Never, said Sophia. She's not going to add carrots to her picture. It is her picture after all. Sophia was despondent. How can we make them see my perspective? One committee member remained. Sophia and Noodle concocted a plan. Ooh, what do you think the plan is? So one more person to talk to, and we know who that is, right? Grandmama. Let's see what the plan is. Do you have an idea? I don't. Okay. Sophia presented her work to Grandmama. I call this piece of art love, she said. May I? Art? Cried Grandmama. A 6-year-old could do this. Sophia refrained from pointing out that a 6-year-old had. I think we know how old Sophia is. I can't abide abstract art, said Grandmama. Art should express emotion and elevate us. It should look realistic, like something you see every day. I do see this every day, said Sophia. It's a noodle eye view. Elevate her! And with that, Noodle swooped down and lifted Grandmama on high. Whoops, there goes Grandmama. Where, with a little perspective, she finally saw the love. Oh, do you see what Grandmama is seeing? Do you see why Sophia named her picture Love? There's Sophia, and there's Sophia from a noodle eye view. And there's Uncle Conrad, and there's Uncle Conrad. And there's Father's blue striped shirt. And there's Father in his blue striped shirt. And there's Mother in her blue dress. And there's Mother in her blue dress. And they're all gathered together. And look, even Noodle's in this drawing. And there's Grandmama's hand. A masterpiece, Grandmama told the committee. We are so lucky to have it in the collection. But I refuse to let this be displayed on the refrigerator. Where do you suppose Grandmama wants it to be displayed? It's a masterpiece. Where should a masterpiece be displayed? It deserves a place of higher honor. And it looks like Grandmama has decided that it's going to be framed and hung on the wall, where Mother and Grandmama and Sophia and Father and Uncle Conrad and even Noodle can enjoy it all the time. The end. So, what did you think about this book? Did you see what Sophia was drawing from the very beginning? I didn't. It took a noodle eye view for me to see what she was seeing as love, and then it made complete sense. I just needed a different perspective. Do you like to draw? Sophia loves to draw. I like to draw. I'm not very good, but I keep practicing. At the back of the book, there's some helpful hints for drawing. So let's take a look at that. So our author, Jim Averbeck, is letting us know that seeing someone's perspective means looking at things from a different direction. So if we look at a teacup from the side, okay, you can see the handle and you can see the shape, okay? But if I turn it, then you don't see a handle. You see something sticking out and you see circles. So different perspectives, okay? So try it yourself. Take a cup, draw it from the side and see what it looks like. And then look at it from above and try to draw what you see from above. It'll look different, okay? But it is the same object. So sometimes perspective means a way of showing the world, which isn't flat, because all we have is paper to draw on, okay? But we can make it look like it's three-dimensional. That's perspective. And it took artists a long time to figure out how to do this. And here's another one you can try, okay, to draw in perspective. So draw the things very close to you, big, and then draw the things that are farther away from you, small. So what our author is suggesting is draw a picture of a tree on one half of your paper and make it very big. Make it fill that whole half of a paper, okay? Now, on the other half of the paper, okay, near the top, draw a picture of a house, but make it small. Okay? Now, draw a horizontal line across the paper at the bottom of the house, but don't draw the line over the tree. So skip the tree, okay? The line should hide behind the tree, okay? If you do this, does it look like the tree is in front of the house? That's perspective. It's not easy, but the more you try it, you get better at it. And we also have a whole glossary of all those big words in this book. So ossicones, do you remember who had ossicones? That was Noodle, okay? The ossicones are those horn-like objects on top of Noodle's head. Censorship, remember when Sophia cried, "That's censorship," when Mother said she couldn't hang her picture on the refrigerator? Censorship means blocking the display or the distribution of art or works or ideas. An injunction is an order from a judge that directs a person to do or to stop doing something. So Mother issued an injunction stopping Sophia from being able to put her picture on the refrigerator. But then Mother showed leniency, okay? She went a little easy on Sophia and said, okay, you can ask your father, and if he says okay, then that's okay. The public sector, remember Uncle Conrad's the politician, okay? He's in charge of the public sector. And that is the area of a nation's affairs, like the US, okay, under the control of the government. So things like the post office, that's a public sector, okay? The free market is a system in which prices of things are determined by competition between businesses. The government doesn't set the prices, the businesses do. So Father is a businessman and he gets to set his prices. Sometimes, however, free markets can cost a lot more, right, than the public good. Abstract art, a form of art that uses simple lines and shapes rather than trying to create a realistic picture. Okay? So for Sophia, remember, she had sort of a top bird's eye view of the family together. And it didn't look like bodies, it looked like blobs. That was an abstraction of the people in her family. The curator, remember who the curator was? The curator was Grandmama. She's the person in charge of selecting the items for the museum or the art collection. So Grandmama had the final say about whether Sophia's picture could be hung up on the refrigerator. A blue ribbon panel is a group of exceptional people appointed to investigate, study, or analyze a given question. So Uncle Conrad convened that blue ribbon panel to decide whether Sophia's picture was good enough art to be displayed in public. And then avant-garde, okay? Remember, at first, Grandmama did not like Sophia's picture because it was too avant-garde. It didn't look realistic. So avant-garde is art that's done in a way that's not common or usual for what we're expecting. So if Sophia was going to do a realistic picture of her family and call it love, she would have had the family standing and hugging like we saw. But that's not how she saw it. She had a different perspective of love. She had a noodle eye perspective. Okay, that is the end. I'm going to stop sharing. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading of Love by Sophia. I hope you get to practice some art, and I hope you get to think about some of the ideas in this. What makes for a good picture? What should be hung and shared with other people? It's an open question, something to think about. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me. Bye.